How can you become athletic? What do you need to do to become the ultimate athlete, or at least the athlete that you want to be? If you are going to be that hero, that star, you're a man on a mission, what does your body need to be able to do? We've recently been hearing about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, that they're going to get in the ring together. And we've seen Mark Zuckerberg rolling BJJ. Apparently, Elon Musk was in a lot of fights in his earlier stages in life. So even these two men who've made a huge impact on business or are at the front of some very big companies, they value physicality and they're thinking about putting it out on show. Whether you think it's a great idea that they fight each other or if it's just publicity, whatever it is, and distraction, what's for sure is that you do value your physicality. Every man at some stage thinks, I would love this thing to be able to do great things, whether that's parkour or martial arts or bodybuilding or whatever it is. There is not a man who doesn't at some stage think, I want this thing to be able to work very well. This physical body that I'm living in, I want it to be able to do X. Now, this probably goes across all mammals. If you look at young mammals, if you look at any mammal, they all have a physical repertoire. Now, we're fortunate as men, as mankind, to have so much more that we can do with our bodies than a lot of the other species. And yet we squander the opportunity. We also have these bigger brains and probably all kinds of other faculties that the rest of the animal kingdom do not share with us. And we don't put our lives into exploring the massive potential and gifts that we've been given. If we adopt that as a fundamental philosophy of, let's explore the gifts that we've been given athletically, that's a beautiful place to start from. So our philosophy in Uncommon Success is be generally great, be able to move like a child, continually develop foundational abilities, and then become a specialist in something that you value, and probably a number of things where you become very, very good. You might decide that that's boxing, you might decide that that's gymnastics, you might decide that that's weightlifting or powerlifting. Don't forget that you're a man and you were once a child, and you shouldn't lose the abilities that you had as a child. The more that you can hold on to the abilities that you had as a child, or regain the positions and the movement ability that you had as a child, the better you are to avoid injury and to enjoy specialization. It's a huge mistake that's made in professional sports. I worked in professional sports. I still speak with professional athletes and top coaches, heads of performances, heads of Olympic programs, friends with many men in that world. And it's the over-specialization that's clearly causing a lot more of the injuries and capping performance. The best athletes have a bigger general base. You can look at that with Michael Jordan, who was able to get to a top level in baseball, was a good golfer. Kobe Bryant played tons of soccer. LeBron James played a lot of American football. The ability to generalize to an extreme level is the cap on the ability to specialize to an extreme level. And so we're going to be building that general foundation, and that's why we're doing things that others aren't doing. They're going to challenge your brain and they're going to develop your brain. And no matter how old you are or how difficult it is, you will get better, and that will feed into then what you can do in terms of specializing. So all we need for this is 10 minutes a day to begin with. You may decide later that you want to do more than 10 minutes a day, but if we have this minimum of 10 minutes a day of focused athletic development, you will be in the top 1%. And that's crazy to think about. And it's a bit sad because the standards are so low across mankind at the moment. But let's just start with aiming at that top 1%, and then maybe we can think about being in the top 1,000 in the world in what you want to do, or the top number 1 in the world at something, if that's what you want. But let's begin with 10 minutes a day. If you can't give 10 minutes a day to your physicality, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what your priorities are in life. It doesn't have to start intense, but it has to be 10 minutes a day, and it has to be progressive. It has to be uncommon training. You might be like, I'll walk for 10 minutes a day. That's not it. It's 10 minutes of restoring childlike abilities or building your specific abilities to be in the top 1%. 10 minutes. If you can put that 10 minutes in, if you can commit that 10 minutes, I can guide you through how to use that 10 minutes to be an uncommon athlete. It really is that simple. It really is. It doesn't require you to go to a gym. It doesn't require, there's so many people going to a gym and like, get out of the gym. You don't need to be here. You don't have the right to be here. It takes you too much time. You're wasting a lot of energy. You're coming here. You're not getting results. If you did 10 minutes of training before you got in the shower in the morning, you would be better off. Smart training, progressive, stuff that takes you towards where you really want to go. I want you to be able to do a handstand push-up, because if you can do a handstand push-up, you understand consistency. You've been able to get relatively strong. You've been able to get relatively lean, and you'll be able to develop the skill. And if you can do that, then that will carry over, and that will give you foundations for all the other things that you might want to do to win life on your own terms. You will also be able to get whatever other movements you would like to get using that same philosophy and that same way of thinking. We've got lots of different movement guides, and it's great if you say, yeah, I really want to be able to do a front lever, or I really want to be able to do a backflip, or I really want to be able to snatch, over my body weight. Whatever it is for you, be on fire about something and give me 10 minutes a day. If you can do that, you will have an athletic body that you can be proud of. You take your shirt off and you feel proud. If your children grow up to be like you, you'll be proud. That's what we want. Let's get after that, and then we can continue to learn more of the details. You think you know, or most men think they know how to train. It's like watching someone playing Snake on their phone, or sending messages, SMS, or via carrier pigeon even, and thinking that they're doing the best of what they can do with technology to communicate. If you were running a business today and you were operating off a BlackBerry, everyone would know you're a fool, and they would laugh at you and they would ridicule you, and that would be great, because you would then go and get a better tool. You would go and get a better laptop, you would go and get a smartphone, and you would be able to be more productive, right? Let's do that with your training. Let's stop using ancient or outdated technology that really doesn't work well at all. Some of the ancient technology and movement is good, and we will use that. But what we've been doing and what's going on in commercial gyms and training, and the methodologies that are being taught, even to professional athletes, even in Div 1 colleges and NFL teams, and we can do much better. I would like to share those philosophies and systems with you. I'd like to teach them to you. You can use them in your own business, but you can also use them in your own training. When you understand them, you will have them for the rest of your life. I do not want to make you dependent on my training system. I want to teach you how to train yourself and how to think about training and how to set up sessions. And it's nowhere near as complicated as the Russians made it. If you want to have the dynasty building weightlifting team, then maybe you need something complex. In fact, it was the Bulgarians with a much simpler system who were outliers and extremely successful. They were all taking drugs, so don't worry about that. But the Bulgarians kept it pretty simple. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They worked towards it, and they did it. Whereas the Russians had this super complex system, and the strength training world has tried to adapt from that. And it just doesn't need to be that complex. Even what the Russians were working off from before that, with the leaders in strength, Paul Anderson and Bob Peoples, these guys were using very, very simple training systems, and the Russians actually took that and then they made it a lot more complex. The Polish system was that you kept that childlike ability and then you lay it on top of it, aspects of Russian and Bulgarian influence. It doesn't need to be complicated for you. What you need to do is put 10 minutes of focus work, know what you want to achieve, and refine your knowledge of how to get there, overcome the problems as they pop up, and life will be more beautiful. Why would you not build this physical body into something beautiful, something that you're really proud of, something that when you walk down the street, others think, okay, yeah, like that's a good example. I would like to be like that. It's not the same for everybody. Some people want to box. Some people want to do jiu-jitsu. Some people want to sprint. Some people want to be powerlifters. Don't mind. Keep some childlike ability. Specialize. Life gets better. Let's get on this athletic journey. Never stop. Be an uncommon man.